car dealers get away with just about everything or anything they want, and there's really no government kind of oversight on it. And this is important because government oversight matters when an industry is that big. So, one of the things that people ask me a lot is, what is the future of exotic car hacks? Like, why did you create that? What was the point of that? And obviously, one of the big things that people don't realize is that I've been in the auto industry since like 2005. And since 2005, I've really learned quite a lot about not just the industry, but about how things work in it. And I think it's terribly flawed as a whole. So the first thing we need to consider is that the existence of exotic car hacks came from two basic principles. The first one being that I was in banking for a long time, so I come from an angle of money, not from an angle of cars, meaning we're not talking about our love for which car is the best or what's the best SUV versus the best crossover and so on. Like things like that I don't care about. Basically, I look at everything from a financial transaction. And one of the big things that I've always said with exotic car hacks, it's about connecting a new audience to cars, but from a state of financial responsibility, which is something you've never heard of before, like for the last decade. Because you see, for the last 20 years, automakers and auto dealers have worked very hard for you not to be educated on how cars are bought and sold. And what's actually funny is the auto industry is one of the only industry that is so large and yet unregulated in the United States, which means that car dealers get away with just about everything or anything they want, and there's really no government kind of oversight on it. And this is important because government oversight matters when an industry is that big. I mean, there's a lot of fraud going on with titles in dealerships. There's a lot of floating payoff issues. There's a lot of people selling cars that are completely damaged, destroyed, and shit, and yet they're getting away with it, and consumers are being caught for that. I mean, who has time to go sue a dealer when they buy a car that's got a $5,000 problem? No one's going to go to court over $5,000, especially when you're a normal person, right? We're not talking about everybody's not buying Ferraris in the world. So, the Exotic Car Hacks platform as a whole was really the beginning of an education resource center to help people understand basically that there is a better way to own a car. And in addition to that, there is also a financial component to automotive ownership. And so regardless if you're looking for an exotic, a luxury car, or anything, Exotic Car Hacks is becoming the resource platform that has all aspects of car buying covered in a way that eliminates any doubt, any unexpected expenses, and in most cases reduces your cost of ownership by over 80%, which is crazy, right? And all of that is basically years and years, like over a decade of knowledge put together into basically, this platform that enables normal people to have access to information that previously they had to go squirm all over the internet and they wouldn't know what is accurate, what is not. And so I've brought all of that into one place. And in addition to that, it's also become an incredible resource to keep dealers accountable. I mean, we have grown so much and have such a large following when it comes to car buying that there is such a big opportunity now to make sure we hold dealers who are screwing people accountable, and we hold them to this higher standard of doing better business. Even to this day, you would have no idea how many exotics. I mean, I'm buying roughly about maybe 15 to 30 exotics a month. And again, not all for me, to be clear, but as I'm making these purchases, you would be surprised that maybe over 70% of them have undisclosed damage, the undisclosed issues, undisclosed stories, and things that dealers may appear to have no knowledge about, but I find highly doubtful when seeing the amount of cars they've sold in the past, and also seeing the fact that they just haven't checked. And so, a lot of these dealers just don't check the stuff, and they kind of assign something to it, and that's really the big issue there. But, as we grow towards the future of Exotic Car Hacks, we can also understand and look at the idea that Exotic Car Hacks is more than just for exotics. We just released Luxury Car Hacks, an opportunity for people to understand how to apply these principles to luxury cars, not even specialty cars, anything with a badge like Cadillac, Lexus, Porsche, Mercedes. All of those cars now qualify in the same boat, but there's a new strategy for it. And then, in addition to that, this year, we're going to be introducing a platform for children, which is going to be an incredible opportunity for kids at a young age to not just get involved with cars, because obviously we understand that, but to be involved with the idea of having financial responsibility and linking the idea of money and cars together. And so I believe that we can start kids young with the idea of teaching them money, and teaching them about how cars and money work together should also not be an exception to that. So all of this and much, much more coming. There's also a big plan that I can't reveal yet about revolutionizing the way car buying occurs, not just online but in person. So that's something that you guys are going to see in the future. But basically, the whole core of what Exotic Car Hacks is really reshaping the whole world of exotic and luxury car ownership for people, and holding dealers accountable to this higher standard of doing business. Because I think there's a lot of business to be done in the car world, and I think there's a lot of good business to be done, and there's a lot of great dealers out there who take their time and do a good job. And I think that those dealers aren't getting the press they need, and on the other side, the people that are screwing people aren't getting the kind of not like kickback, but I should say they're not really getting the other side of it, which is that consumers aren't really protected because there is no regulation in this realm. And so that's kind of my kind of vision for what Exotic Car Hacks can be in the future. And we're making tremendous progress. We're growing at almost 250% year after year. A lot more education out there, a lot more branding. A lot of people are now aware of what we do, and I think over the long term, it's going to become an incredible, large and effective platform for all people that want to link the idea of cars and money together and make financially responsible decisions around their automotive ownership.